What's up, guys? Today I'm going to bring you a video analyzing if we should invest in the stock market or in cryptocurrency. And this is going to be a full data-based approach based on the monthly returns of assets in the stock market and in the crypto markets. So before we begin, this is not financial advice, and you should do your own research after the video if you consider investing in anything I talk about. So to start, when I started researching crypto and the stock market, investing a lot, the last couple of months, one question I had is how much money should I invest in the stock market and how much money should I invest in the crypto market, anything in the crypto space, because I didn't know what would be the best for my investment, what would give me the best ROI. There's a lot of different ways to look at it based on your risk tolerance, how much you want to increase your money, and how safe you want to be. So first thing I did is look at the recent returns of the assets in the stock market and the crypto market. And I'm going to take you through that right now. So this can give you a good idea of the risk and the upside of the stock market compared to the crypto market. So I'm only doing a few different assets in the stock market and the crypto market. I'm going to take three from each. Starting in the stock market, I took the S&P 500, the NASDAQ. These are two indexes of the stock market. And then I took Tesla, which was one of the most popular and best performing stocks in the stock market this past year. And I got online from Yahoo Finance the monthly returns for the past 12 months. Unfortunately, I accidentally got 11 months for Tesla, but not a huge deal. And then I calculated the average monthly return for each of these three assets. I calculated the average standard deviation for each of these three assets. And I calculated the current year-to-date return on investment if you had invested in this asset 1 year ago. And we can see these are all pretty good investments if you had money in the stock market this past year. Historically, the stock market gets about around 10% if you look at the historic data. So this was actually a very good year for the stock market. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff with the government pumping money, which helps the stock market go up. And also, I took this data pretty close to the COVID dip back in last spring. So we know the market rebounded and went up all year after that. So that's another reason why these gains are pretty good for the stock market. And obviously for the stock market, the indexes and ETFs such as the S&P 500 NASDAQ, those are going to be safer. Those are going to be safer and have smaller standard deviations for the average return. And then stocks such as Tesla or any other stock may or may not have this higher average monthly return, but it will most likely have a higher standard deviation, which means the range of outcomes for your return in 1 month is going to range much more than the ETFs. So now let's look at the crypto data that I have. And I put them right next to the similar asset class. So I compared Bitcoin to the S&P 500 because those are two of the main assets in each of the markets. And I took Ethereum and compared that to NASDAQ. Ethereum is basically one of the safest things in crypto, and NASDAQ is another big ETF in the stock market. And then I took Tesla and compared it to Chainlink. Oops, sorry. And I compared it to Chainlink, which is one of the biggest altcoins, which is basically a stock in the crypto space. You can compare an altcoin like Link to a stock in the stock market. So now let's look at these blue columns. Bitcoin had a 16% monthly return on investment. Ethereum had a 25% monthly return on investment in the last year. And Chainlink had a 29% return on investment this past year. And we can see each of their standard deviations are also over 20%. So that means there's a much bigger swings in the crypto market. But overall, if we look at the 1 year return on investment, Bitcoin was 400%, Ethereum was over 1,000%, and Chainlink was over 1,000%. So for me, this is one reason why I'm leaning towards investing a lot more in the crypto space based on straight facts, the straight data. Now, will this continue? Will crypto continue to go up 10x, 4x? Maybe not this coming year, but I'm still bullish on it, and I think it can even increase 2x, 3x maybe, and that's still great and much better than the stock market. you will almost never see the safest investments in the stock market, the ETFs, double in 1 year. That will almost never happen. So crypto gives you that opportunity. And then next, I created some plots to compare this if you're a more visual learner. So this is the stock market. I plotted the distribution of outcomes for 1 month. The return on investment is on the x-axis, and then the probability of that return on investment is on the y-axis. So we can see here, this is the same thing we just did, Tesla, S&P, and NASDAQ. Now I'm going to show the crypto market. You can see that this is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Chainlink. This is much wider standard deviation than the stock market. You see, you can go way out to these sides here with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Chainlink. You can go 100% in 1 month, or you can go negative 100% in 1 month, but that's very low chance of happening. Next, these are the most interesting. So I took the top assets in the crypto market, Bitcoin, and one of the safest ETFs in the stock market, which is the S&P 500, and I plotted these two. So we can see here, Bitcoin is way ahead of the S&P 500 in the mean return, but obviously has a much wider range of outcomes. And I did the same thing for the stock and the altcoin, Chainlink. And we can see the same thing here, although it's a little closer to this comparison. Chainlink has a pretty wide outcome here, but significantly better return on investment than Tesla. So this is just a cool visual, and it can help you understand what you're investing in, what are the possible outcomes of your investment. And now lastly, I created a little quick simulation to see what would happen if you invested $100 in the S&P 500, and what would happen if you invested $100 in Bitcoin, based on the past year's data. And we can simulate this a couple times and see. So the first attempt, Bitcoin, your final, after 1 year, your $100 in Bitcoin would be 250, and in 1 year, your $100 in the S&P 500 would be 174. So let's run this a couple times and see what would happen. This year, the S&P 500, you would have lost 30 bucks. And this year, Bitcoin, you would have made 300. Let's run another one. Wow, you actually would have lost money in Bitcoin this year and made money in the S&P 500. So let's go a little quicker here. Bitcoin, $700 this year. That's called variance. That's the wide standard deviation that could give you a big return. Let's run some more. Pretty similar. Bitcoin up big. Bitcoin made you $1,000 this year. Bitcoin is 5xing the S&P 500, about even. Bitcoin made you more. 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 I think you see the trend here that if you run this, Bitcoin's going to make you a lot more a lot of the time. I think only like the second run, Bitcoin lost money, and there's only a couple years where Bitcoin would have made you less than the S&P 500 would. So this is just a little information. Do your own research, and this is one reason why I'm investing a lot more in Bitcoin. There's slightly more risk. It's all based on your risk tolerance. If you can handle a downswing in a couple months, I think it's worth to invest a lot more in crypto than the stock market. So drop a comment if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.